In less than 2 weeks, NBA players are going to be fighting for their job on their respective team. Now for the Raptors, those guys on the chopping block are Justin Champagnie, Gabe Brown, DJ Wilson, Juan Hernangomez, and Josh Jackson. Let me break it down. So the Raptors preseason starts in just 13 days. Now the preseason is used for more than just getting your players ready for the regular season. It's also used to make last minute cuts to your team. Now the Raptors, like everybody, right now have more players under contract than they're allowed to actually take into the regular season. Matter of fact, they have 20 guys under contract, and you're only allowed to have 15 on your roster and two-way deals once the season starts. So this means 3 players will have to be cut. So let's get into the players that might be getting cut this preseason. We'll start with Juan Hernangomez. He's 26 years old, 6'9", 214 pounds. Just this last few weeks in the Eurobasket, he averaged almost 13 points a game on 39% from 3 and 53% from the floor. So Juan has spent 6 years in the league. He was the 15th overall pick in 2016, but he struggled to find a stable situation in the league since being traded from Denver. Now he's averaged about 49 games per season in his career, so the availability isn't really that great. But he most recently starred in the movie Hustle, and since then played in Eurobasket, where off the bench, he helped them become champions. He actually was the equivalent of their finals MVP. In the final game, he scored 27 points. Some positive takeaways from this tournament was the free throw efficiency. He hit 88% of those free throws, which is way better than any time in the NBA. He averaged under 70% in his career in the league. Defensively was whatever, only about 0.2 blocks a game, but you gotta be super happy with this, even though it's a small sample size, because he came out as champions. If you want to learn more about Juan, I actually made a whole power forward breakdown on the Raptors, so you can go watch that here. Our next preseason contender here is Josh Jackson. He's 25 years old as well, 6'8", 207 pounds. Last season, he averaged 6.4 points a game on 40% from the field and 2.8 rebounds. So Josh was the 4th pick of the 2017 draft, and he got a lot of run in Phoenix, 25 minutes a game, but terrible efficiency, 51% field goal, 29% from 3, didn't play make at all. Since then, he's been labeled as a bust. He spent time with the Memphis G League and bounced around some other teams too. So last season, Josh only played in 51 games, and the offensive efficiency, as usual, was terrible. The percentages and the playmaking, not there. He did show some potential as a defensive player though. So in the future, a few things you gotta do. First, become just neutral on offense. Just score within the system, take high percentage shots, and pass the ball carefully, take care of it. Just get more assists than turnovers, and maybe a few more assists too. Also, lean into that defense a little bit. He's got a great frame for it, 6'8", 207 pounds. He can make an impact on that end. Our next preseason player here, DJ Wilson. He's 26 years old, 6'10", 231 pounds. In the 2021 season, he averaged 5.2 points a game on 35% from 3 and 3.2 rebounds. So DJ spent 3 years at the University of Michigan before being drafted 17th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks. Later, he was traded to Houston, and he spent last season's preseason on the OKC Thunder, similar to this Raptors situation. He didn't end up making the team, but spent a few games with the Raptors, signed on some 10-day contracts, and this offseason he actually got a 2-year deal from the Raptors for the minimum, just for this preseason training camp. So DJ only actually played 4 NBA games last season with the Raptors, but the year before, he shot it well from 3 on decent attempts, 2.5 attempts per game. That's pretty decent. The 2-point percentage, though, wasn't that great. 47% for a big is definitely subpar, and he lacks playmaking. Now, in defense, though, he'd be a great big body for the Raptors, and 0.5 blocks a game when you're only playing 12 minutes a game is actually super impressive. So in terms of what I'd like to see him improve this season, definitely that 2-point field goal. Impose your will on the inside and don't settle for shots when you don't need to. Also, show some passing skill. At least take care of the ball. So if you're not getting too many assists, at least you aren't turning the ball over too much. And then on the defensive end, so show some potential hanging with bigs on ball and continue that strong help defense with those block numbers. Next up, we got Gabe Brown. He's 22 years old, 6'8", 215 pounds. In his last season of college, he averaged 11.6 points, 38% from 3, and 0.7 steals a game. So Brown spent 4 years at Michigan State and was actually on the OKC Summer League team just this past summer. Then he got signed by the Raptors with this preseason deal. So Brown played heavy minutes as a senior, but his efficiency dropped a little bit from the junior to senior year, while the scoring itself remained the same on a per 36 basis. Now, he's a great 3-point shooter, making over 2 per game, but the rebounding could be a lot better for his frame. And also the playmaking ability is really not there. In the Summer League, he showed more of the same. 3-point shooting, good. Defense, nice, but no real playmaking. So big things going into the future that he can improve is that playmaking, man. 1.1 assist to turnover ratio. Take care of the ball. I know that that's not his role. He's not being asked to play make. But then if you're not going to make plays and assist people, then don't turn the ball over. Take care of the ball. Small things too. You can improve scoring inside the 3, get that field goal percentage up, and rebound a little better too. Our last guy to break down for you here today, Justin Champagnie. He's 21 years old, 6'6", 200 pounds, and he actually played for the Raptors last season, played some actual games, some real minutes. In those minutes, he got 2.3 points, 46% from the field, and 36% from 3. So Justin spent a couple years in college, and then last season he was with the Raptors G League team and NBA team on that 2-way contract. Then just this offseason, the Raptors gave him a 2-year deal. So digging into Justin's past a little bit, in his second year of college, he averaged over a steal and block per game. He also rebounded super well for his size too, with 11.1 rebounds per game. So that's insane. Now that first season in the NBA, again, he rebounded a little bit better than someone at his size might, and scored efficiently enough. Now both those are super promising for someone who's only 20 years old. In the future though, this season he's going to have to fight for minutes with an even deeper Raptors roster. He needs to make sure he's scoring efficiently, high effort defense, and stay healthy for when other people inevitably go down, you're ready to fill that hole. Big areas of improvement, I'd like to see him realize more of that rebounding potential and pass it a little bit more. Do smart passes, easy ones, don't try to do too much with it. So I'm going to go through the pros and cons on each of these guys for the Raptors team. First off, Justin Champagnie's easy. He's had a lot of experience in the NBA already and actually contributed. I think that speaks way more volumes than any potential might. And he's got great potential too. He's still a young guy. DJ Wilson, pros, well, he's got a lot of great NBA experience. The Raptors are missing someone there at center, and he can space the floor. For cons though, he doesn't really play the traditional center role on offense. And we already have players that can do the pick and pop for us. The playmaking is also terrible, and you gotta mention that he is quite an old player if you compare them to some of the other guys here. Gabe Brown, for pros, this guy's an awesome 3-and-D player guy, man. He rebounds it well. He doesn't need the ball at all to be effective on offense. The cons though, he's never been a playmaker, and the Raptors don't really have an elite playmaker to get somebody like this super open shots all the time. I'd actually like his fit a lot better down in the G League with Jeff Downton, who shows a lot more potential to be someone like an elite playmaker. Josh Jackson, pros, he's got actual NBA experience as well, defensive potential, and he fits the Raptors' bigger lineup scheme. Now, the cons though, his offense is just terrible from an efficiency standpoint, and when you want someone to just slot in and play a role, that's not what you want to see. It's also concerning he's not improved those parts of his game at all since that 2017 draft. Last year, Juan Hernangomez. As for pros, he's a super well-rounded player, and he fits into the Raptors' bigger lineup with all those power forwards who just slot in there super nice, and he's got NBA experience too. Now as for cons, his age is a little bit of a question, especially when you look at the availability. He's only averaged 50 games per season. So I'm going to rate these players 1 to 5 on how likely they actually are to make this NBA team. At the 5th spot here, we have Gabe Brown. I think he's going to play well in this preseason. And he should go to our G League squad, man, play with Downton. I love the fit there, but he can really move up if he can take care of the ball. I really like Gabe and his archetype. I just don't think that we can have him slot in as a role guy with that 1.1 assist to turnover ratio. Next up at number 4, we've got DJ Wilson. He doesn't really have the speed to fit in as one of those power forwards in Nick Nurse's bigger lineup. He's just not quite versatile enough. He is a 6'10" center though, and he can move up in this ranking definitely. If he can show how he's imposing his will down in the paint on offense, that would be awesome. He's got the mid-range and 3-point game already. If you could add another layer to that where you can score a little bit inside and you show the willingness to do so, I think there's definitely potential for him to move up in this ranking. Next up in our rankings at number 3 is Josh Jackson. This guy's an offensive 0, but he's got defensive potential, man. And if he shows in this preseason that he can play within the system and score efficiently enough, do a little bit of playmaking too, hey, he can move up into that top 2 and actually make the team. At number 2 here, I put Juan Hernangomez. He's super well-rounded, and he's had less time to show his potential than someone like Josh Jackson is, so that's why I give him the edge over him. So let's see if he can continue that Eurobasket hot streak into the preseason and earn himself a roster spot. Last year at number 1, Justin Champagnie. This guy's a shoe-in, man. He's already got NBA experience showing how he can contribute on this specific Raptors team. They know about his character too, and he knows all about the Raptors system. It's a great match for these guys, so I don't see him not making the squad. Alright guys, so I've broken down the Raptors' 5 preseason players. These guys are all on the chopping block to actually make the NBA team. Only 2 out of the 5 can make it, so leave it down there in the comments who you think those 2 out of 5 will be. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.